So the animation is about an animal circus, but instead of animals performing and being abused and humiliated, it's humans in their place. So the humans and animals have switched roles. Our original idea was to create an animation about like different areas of animal abuse being used for entertainment, like cage dog fighting, fox hunting, clay pigeon shooting, shark finning, anything to do with animal abuse. But before that, I'll get a bit confusing and time frame, so decided to narrow it down to one area that we create animal circus, and that way show like what this actually people in the first area. So I was in charge of creating the pipeline, and so I just jotted down all different roles and all the tasks that need to be done, and I allocated them to each team member, and we all worked on it. So whilst I was working on something, Hassan was working on something else, and Owen was working on something else. So instead of instead of me working on something and the other two waiting on me to finish it, them two got on with other stuff whilst I got on with something, and so it didn't waste that much time. I was also in charge of the animatic. I got the sources I needed from Owen and Hassan, and I manipulated the images and made them into an animatic without the full animation, so it gave a general idea of what the animation was going to be. But so to start off with, because I was in charge of it, I made a few rough drafts of the script, and then I wrote it all up in an actual script structure. So I added all the camera movements, all the stage directions and all that to make it easier to read when creating the actual animation.
My job role was character design artist and background design artist. So basically what I did was drew all the characters and everything we were going to use, the assets and the background. So I made concepts of those and I pitched it to my team to see if they liked it. And then once they did, we finalized on the designs of the characters and so on.
So how did you create them? How did you create the characters? Did you start off with shapes or?
Yeah, I started off with basic shapes, so circles, squares, and so on, and I just went about feeling in the details, and yeah, we tried to keep all the characters unique in a way. So if you looked at the elephant, he's got a really big square shape, but yeah, we also tried to keep them realistic to fit the tone of our animation.
So when it came to creating the characters, what inspired you? What gave you the ideas? How did you get the ideas?
So I put a mood board together, and basically what I did was I just looked at a few animation features which had animals in it, and I drew inspiration from there. Yeah. My favorite character is probably the tiger.
Tiger.
Yeah, it was the hardest to draw, but yeah, he's my favorite.
Well, my role was 2D artist, digitalising the sketches that I got from Owen. Yeah, that was my first one. And the second role was to make everything, well, the background pretty much 3D. Yeah, that's what I did. I created the 3D in two different softwares. The first one was Maya. This was to make the circus itself. But then when it came to texturing and lighting, I was more familiar with using 3ds Max instead. So it was a bit of both. Yeah. The problems I had while making the animation was there was a few errors with the software. It kept crashing. Crashing was pretty much, that was the main problem. So at first I got the papers from Owen and I scanned them into Photoshop and I kind of had a pen tool and I went over it, and then I had a separate stage where I had to shade it, stuff like that. Most of the changes happened when it came to creating the characters. When I say that, I mean more of how the character looks. We had changes with the costumes, the colours, but overall they were the key changes that we did.
Went on different websites and I found some copyright-free audio tracks so the animation doesn't get copyright strikes.
Well, I worked with Owen again, but this time I made the website, and the reason for that was so that the audience can get a bit more detailed information about our animation. Inside the website it has links to the Instagram page, shops which will have like t-shirts people can buy, and there'll be a separate page where it's just full of facts of animal abuses, why it should be stopped in circuses specifically. I think that's what I did, making a website.
For post-production, I was in charge of making the Instagram page along with one of my team leaders, Hassan. And so, what we did, we just put behind-the-scenes pictures and what our animation was going to be about, and some clothing stuff, and so you can follow the page if you want to. So, making the animation, there was a few things I liked. I liked my role, which was the character designs. So I liked bringing our ideas and concepts and visualizing it on paper, so we could see it come to life. What I could have done different was maybe animate the characters in 2D or maybe 3D animation, because I think that would have given the characters more expressions.
So I enjoyed using Adobe Premiere and After Effects to make the actual animatic and the animation. I enjoyed working with After Effects the most because it allowed me to use the program, and I haven't used it before, and it was my first time actually rigging 2D characters on the software. What I would do differently is, for the animatic, I would actually animate the characters moving, because as you can see in animatic, I actually, instead of like having animation tests, I just move the character from one side to the other side. But I think I could have actually had a little practice run of rigging for the animatic.
What I enjoyed was getting the concepts of the circus and making it into 3D. The reason for that was I could experiment with the Maya software I wasn't familiar with. I learned some skill where I could transfer from one software to another, and that was quite interesting. I loved all the texture and lighting, making it look as if it was real. Also, I enjoyed getting amazing artwork from Owen and digitalising it in Photoshop, and yeah, that's pretty much